Hey, what's up, guys? I want to welcome you guys out to another edition of According to Kaz and Queen. And as always, I'm Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
And we want to thank you guys for joining us. This is episode number 30. We've got 30 episodes under our belt. We are all the way underway in season 2. So we appreciate you guys for continuing to tune in and, leaving comments, leaving questions, following up with us on social media. Of course, you can follow us on social media at According to Kaz and Queen on Facebook, but also on Instagram at Kaz and Queen and on Twitter at Kaz and Queen. You can also hear us on all streaming services. All right. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Amazon Music as well. Buzzsprout. Also, Black with No Chaser Radio. All right. So make sure that you go and download the BWNC radio app, the Black with No Chaser radio app. Make sure that you download it and you'll be able to hear us when we come to you every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. All right. You'll be able to catch all of the newness that Kaz and Queen are bringing to you. And if you like to see our bright, shiny faces, you know what to do. You know the drill. This is episode 30. Bam. Right under my fingers, right there. Make sure you subscribe right now to their YouTube channel. All right. Make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel. Keep up with everything that's going on with According to Kaz and Queen and all of the other good content that's on there as well. We had, one of our most watched videos from last week's episode. So appreciate all the new people. The subscriber number has gone up. I think gone up like a plus 20 on subscribers. So, slowly but surely, every little subscriber counts, every little like counts, and we're building this brick by brick, and we appreciate you guys for joining with us. So, we're here, and I want to send a special shout out to everybody except for the people in Virginia who are embarrassed at that picture that has gone viral on social media of that barbecue plate. So shouts out to everybody except for you guys in Virginia, whoever that guy was that put that plate on social media that I think now is in the millions in views, which I really think he just did it for engagement. He could not have possibly thought that that was a delightful, delectable barbecue plate. I know some of you may have seen it. I saw it on Twitter, but it's made its rounds. Some guy was saying he was bragging on Virginia barbecue, and the plate was one of the driest, most flavorless plates I have ever seen in my entire life.
We call those struggle plates.
That was a struggle plate, and it was an elaborate struggle plate. It looks like he may have spent a pretty penny on that plate. That's the kind of fancy barbecue that you might get in Virginia, of all places. I've never heard Virginia talked about in the barbecue realm. That's ridiculous. But the meat looked dry. The toast was not toasted. I couldn't
get over the macaroni and cheese. It looked like buttered noodles.
The macaroni and the cheese were separate.
The cheese that was in the cup was for the macaroni?
That was for the macaroni.
Oh, no.
That's
a violation.
That is a violation. Someone should be arrested.
Someone should be arrested.
Someone should be arrested for that. But the cheese next to it, and
That's
I missed it when I first looked at it because I just saw dry noodles and I was like, okay, this is some struggle macaroni and cheese. But the cheese was next to the macaroni. So you're supposed to, I guess it's like a macaroni and cheese starter pack. Like you got to put it together. Like the microwave macaroni and cheese will come out better than that.
All of it is wrong.
It was terrible. It was terrible. Virginia, if any of you are watching this, you should be embarrassed. Whoever this guy is, he needs to be reprimanded. There was no sauce on the meat, on the slices. I guess it was, maybe.
Was that a meatloaf?
It was. I think it was.
It wasn't brisket.
It wasn't brisket.
Was not, you can't. Please don't tell me that was an attempt at brisket.
It might have been. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to need him to kind of clarify what that was, but there was no sauce on it. I can't get over the bread not being toasted. That was terrible. That right there was probably the most shocking piece and all that. I've seen bad macaroni and cheese before,
Yeah.
but the bread not being toasted is an abomination in and of itself. And, you know, people have different interpretations of barbecue. And I'm going to ask you about your favorite in a second. But for me, the sauce has to be on the meat when you're barbecuing. It has to exist on the meat, and it has to live on whatever your protein is. I don't want to keep saying you have to have the sauce on the meat. That sounds weird, but you know, whatever your protein is on your plate, the sauce should be on it.
As opposed to
The
dipping.
side. I don't like the dipping, and I don't like the side. And I'm going to tell you, there's, you know, a barbecue joint down here that people say that they love, Sonny's, as a matter of fact. We'll go ahead and just call them out. You know, they have their sauce in a little thing on the side, and everybody just raves about it. But I don't want to have to dip into my barbecue sauce.
You're saying that as you're grilling, the barbecue sauce
Yes.
should be placed on the
It
meat.
should be placed on to the meat on the grill so that it can
merge together in oneness.
merge together with oneness.
Yeah.
That is how that has to happen. You need to be able to taste the sauce and the chicken together as one. Or whether it's a hamburger patty or whether it's a turkey leg, you got to be able to taste the sauce on it. The sauce on the side, I don't know why that became a thing. I'm not a fan of it at all whatsoever. But speaking of which, just as an aside, the best barbecue that you've ever had.
In my life?
Yes. The best
I'm not a
barbecue that you had.
real barbecue, gimme barbecue person.
Yeah, you know what? You're right about that.
I'm
You're
not,
not. You know,
but-
you're a go. You know, let's go to the barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for a cookout.
You're
now.
for the cookout.
I'm for the cookout. I think maybe I would have to say E&L, but it's more about the chicken than it is. Well, no, I like the sauce on the fries. I guess E&L. But if I'm being honest, I think that your barbecue is definitely in my top 3.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, we are married, so I don't.
Don't poo-poo what I'm saying just
I'm not
because
gonna
I'm your
poo-poo
wife. You
what you're
always
saying.
poo-poo it because I'm your wife.
I
wouldn't
okay,
say
I
it
get
if it
All right.
wasn't really the truth.
I agree.
I
agree.
think you really do make good sauce. Your grilling is top notch.
my sauce and my grilling is top notch. I didn't want to really get into a thing where I had to toot my horn on
You
here for you
didn't have
guys,
to.
but,
You could have went a whole nother way.
There's a lot of
with that.
directions. Well, I mean, you
could have took
presented
a
it.
much more
You
humble
put it-
approach.
You put it on the table. You put it on the
You
table.
could have just said, "Oh, thanks, babe,"
Yes.
but instead you said, "Yes, my grilling and my barbecue."
My grilling
is
and my
top-notch."
sauce is top tier. Okay. I can't.
Now I wish I didn't even say it.
You can't bring that up. And that's why I was trying to avoid steering it in my direction. Because once you get here, then I have to say yes.
You didn't have to.
I mean, the people need to know that my sauce is top tier and my grilling
They
is top
knew
tier.
that by me saying that it was in my top 3.
Yes,
You didn't have to
I
say
agree,
anything.
but I think I just wanted to reiterate because right now, you know, as we speak, we're going to be signing off and we're going to be enjoying some of that barbecue. As a matter of fact, that's kind of how this whole discussion came up. And I won't say that I was inspired by that picture, but I think everyone who takes barbecuing seriously in the world, I think, may have grilled this weekend after watching that plate just to get the stench and the stink of that terrible plate that was passed around, just to get that off of them. But you know, years of experience from barbecuing at you know, frat parties, frat kickbacks, tailgates, get-togethers, and you know, acquiring skills and developing them over many years. Trial and error. With
It's
grilling,
consistent too.
with-
You don't ever have a bad batch. It's always consistent.
I don't want to say that I don't miss. I don't want to say that. I don't want to.
I'm just let you have this conversation. With yourself.
No, don't do that. Stay here because you brought this up. I don't want to say that I don't miss, but very rarely do I have a bad batch. The turkey wings that I cooked last was not my best batch.
That wasn't sauce related though.
Sauce issue related. It was the time.
It was a seasoning issue.
Yes, it was the time on the grill.
But you don't take notes either. I be trying to tell you things, but you think
I
better.
take mental notes.
You don't listen though.
I take mental notes. I hear
give you tips on how to make it better, but you don't listen. You got to do it yourself.
On how to make my barbecue better?
How to make your meat taste better.
Yes. I did take some of those tips.
You did?
For the batch that we're going to eat.
Okay, well, we'll get back with that review then.
Okay. If I was, had the wherewithal, I would have had the plate right here for us to do that, But the people that are listening on Spotify wouldn't have had a chance to get to see it. So that wouldn't have been fair for...
Enough with the posting of the plates anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's social media. That's the thing. Some people are not doing it well. Some people are posting plates that you should not be so proud of. They're not bad, but
they're not picture worthy.
You can't put, a grilled chicken breast and some green beans that you done put in the pot and a salad on the plate and say, I went to town on dinner tonight. And, that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Just because you finish the meal and the meal is edible, that does not mean that you killed it in the kitchen.
That's correct.
At the time. And there's a lot of that going on. Look at my plate.
Half the time, by the time I realize I should take a picture, I've already eaten half the plate.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessary to take a picture for me unless it tastes good.
Who was that? That was Tom Halford on Parks and Rec, who was taking pictures of his meal and not really eating it, just taking pictures of it. It's a ridiculous concept, but it's social media. I don't have the time to take pictures.
Yeah,
I've done it. You've been with me. You've done it before. Yeah.
I've done it, but there are people who do it. They really every time they cook, they showing a picture of it. And I actually get ideas sometimes. Mm-hmm. I like to see people take a meal from the beginning to the end and then post a picture rather than just the picture.
Yeah, the process is always important.
Yeah, I like that.
At any rate, shouts out to all the people out there that are getting ready to start eating good barbecue. It's crawfish season out there as well. Shouts out to those people. Crawfish are delicious.
Ugh.
I don't get why you don't like the crawfish. The number of fantastic crawfish boils that I've been to in my lifetime. It's a waste of time. It's not a lot of meat.
I don't like to work hard for very little. You got to go through too much to get inside of it. And it's got eyes. It's like eating something that's living. It's disgusting.
You mean like chicken? And
chicken does not have eyes.
Ground beef?
Especially not while you're actually eating it.
Fish?
Fish don't have eyes when you're actually eating it.
I'm going to tell you this, an interesting aside, because we were talking about my trip to Ghana a while back. They served the fish whole with the fish head and the eyes on it.
Yeah, people do that. I don't think I would mind the fish because it's a lot of meat on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the fish.
But you're not a fan of the crawfish.
Mm-mm. For a lot of reasons. I don't like the way it looks. It looks like a bug.
It's a mud bug.
It looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see the point of going through all the effort for that little bitty amount of meat. I don't see the point of that. It doesn't even matter to me what it tastes like.
I think for the crawfish, I think it's more of the experience. The times I've eaten crawfish have been at crawfish boils where, there's a potato and there's some corn in there and some people around and there's some beer and there's some music. And, you're passing the time, cracking open the crawfish, getting in. The little one enjoys crawfish.
Yeah, I don't eat anything for the experience. It needs to be good. I like for my food to taste good. That's the experience.
You just recently, did you not say that you tried sushi for the first time?
Yeah.
So how was that?
I liked it.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the experience, though. Because this is interesting for those of you that are listening. My wife has a very limited palate. And when I say a limited palate, there's, on one hand, you can count the number of things that she eats.
That's true.
On one hand.
That is true.
And at times, I think maybe the fourth or fifth thing maybe fluctuate. I mean, I know that there is potatoes. I know that there is chicken. I know that there is spaghetti.
That's really it.
You like spaghetti when it's mixed together.
I like them both. I just prefer for it to mix together.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm starting to open my palate a little bit and try different things, which is why I tried the sushi. It just never really made sense to me. I don't like rice enough to just be eating a glob of rice, is what I thought initially.
You feel like it's a glob of rice.
I feel like it's
what
a
was
glob of
what
rice.
was inside the sushi that you ate?
Avocado and some onion. They called it something. It had some batter on it, small little onions, onion crunch or something. I don't know.
Crunchy roll?
They called it something, but there was no meat on it. It was just vegetarian cucumber. And it was appealing looking. It was a small one.
You're
it was
big
mini.
on what your food looks like as well.
It was appealing looking. I was at a spiritual gathering. It was a full moon circle. And so the energy was just delightful. So it was, I was in a good mood. I was in a, be a part. Everybody was eating. I didn't want to just not eat anything. I wanted to kind of keep the flow going. So I just grabbed one and popped it in my mouth. I was like, oh my goodness, that's good.
There it is. I told you.
Yeah.
You just got to try it.
I didn't do any sauce or anything. They had yum sauce and teriyaki. I didn't do any sauce because I was intentional about wanting to know what it really tasted like. And in my head, I was thinking, I don't even remember the reason why I don't like it. It just has never really done anything. Like, I wasn't real curious about it. It just seemed like a glob of rice, cold rice at that. Where's
Served
the butter?
cold.
Where's the gravy? I'm confused. What y'all doing with this rice?
Because rice only goes with butter and gravy. In your mind.
Basically.
It's one of those things. I'm glad you tried it. I have had sushi before. It's not something that I regularly eat because of the fact sushi is one of those things like, when it's out, you got to eat it. You can't, put it up because it's basically, it's raw fish and other things. But, some people have tuna. There are some other things that they have done with the sushi roll now to make it palatable to people. And now it's become a popular thing. But,
Yeah, my education was limited. Like, I always thought it was something raw inside. Like, I guess that's the tuna that I've seen people make. And that turned me off of it. So I just didn't have a lot of information when I made a firm decision to be a non-liker of sushi.
You should just try the same thought process. See the sushi, grab it, and eat it.
I did that.
Yeah, and it worked out good for you. So you should do that the next time you see some sushi. Don't ask them, hey, is this the avocado sushi? Just grab it and eat it. And who knows what'll happen after that.
Maybe.
Yeah, you should stretch your palate out some.
I'm not going to order any. I'd have to be somewhere and it's there. I don't want to spend money on it and it's not good.
I don't think
or I don't like it.
I don't think there's ever been any Franklin money spent on sushi.
But I did enjoy it.
Well,
I think it was just the whole
Chinese
experience, though, that I enjoyed.
That's right. This show, as always, ladies and gentlemen, is brought to you by the Kundi Collection. All right, that you can find at www.kundicollective.com. All right, this should be up on the screen right now. Go and check out that website for all of those designs that you have here. I have one on right here. As a matter of fact, this is for Chris Rock. Love and protect black women. I think he would like this. He probably needs this shirt and needs to wear it around. But this is one of the shirts that's available on the website right now. So make sure you go check that out at www.kundicollective.com. KUNDI collective.com. If you're listening to us on streaming services, make sure you do that. Go check out the designs. There's some really, really cool designs on there that both myself and my bride have come up with. There's actually an entire Her Run to Freedom section based upon the play that's there. So there's a Her Run to Freedom line that you can use, that you can go to and check out on the website. So you can get those as well. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on this week. The opening of Creed 3 happened. We have not seen the movie yet, but there's a lot of Micheal B. Jordan and there's a lot of Jonathan Majors on our timelines and people talking about it. One thing that I caught and I texted to you, because I think we've talked about this before, that was particularly interesting. Micheal B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, took several pictures. It was a photo shoot, I guess, for the movie or whatever it was for. Two black men, I guess, in, very close poses, arms around each other, intimate photos of, bros, I guess you call it. And it, of course, in this homophobic world that we live in, there was a lot of talk about, Micheal B. Jordan having done this with Chadwick Boseman, or was it Ryan? No, it was Ryan Coogler, the producer of Black Panther, him having similar pictures with Ryan Coogler and now doing it with Jonathan Majors. And now comes the issue of, that the pictures look like, that they look suspect. Should men be showing affection for other men in that fashion? The usual things that you hear. So, you had an opportunity to see the pictures and just kind of, I just want to get your thoughts on it, because that's literally a thing. And I think as men, sometimes you grow up, not wanting to show affection to or emotion around other men or your homies in that fashion, even though you may have a deep, deep love for them. But what are your thoughts on that?
It's not something that my generation is familiar with. We didn't get to see a lot of that. I'll be honest, I did have to take a double look. Didn't dawn on me that, okay, they must be gay or something. That didn't dawn on me, but I did have to go back and look at it again. It wasn't like normal. Absolutely. So, it's just not something that our generation knows, and we're having to reprogram ourselves to understand that men have loving relationships and it's not, sexual. Right. And I think that it's not just men who have to learn to be comfortable with their emotions and with their love for each other and how they display it, but also women. We have to learn that. We have to reprogram our minds too, because we didn't see it,
right.
So
right.
It's just, I appreciate them for making a bold statement. However, I think they probably made the statement for boldness and to strike some conversation and maybe even controversy. But I think it's sad to, start putting these labels and tags and all of that on it. It should be that we see it as a beautiful moment between two brothers working together. And I know that it's going to take time for us to get to that point to where we're able to see it and appreciate that. But there are people out there working to reprogram ourselves to actually see it for what it is and not for what we have always been taught just because we've been taught that.
I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, we've been taught that was gay to do that. And you and I have had, these conversations about, the inability to be open and vulnerable in a group of men, or around men or people that I consider to be brothers. I have guys, my line brothers that I consider to be, very close with. I consider them to be my brothers. And, we have been up and down the road together in lots of situations, and we went through it, came out on the other end of it. And I love all of those guys. But the conversations that I have with you, or the conversations that I might have with my sister, or, in any sense, I sometimes feel like I couldn't have those same conversations with another man. Which, is weird, but you should be able to, I was just having a conversation with my son, a couple of nights ago, having a conversation, and, found myself, trying to make sure or trying to find the correct words to be able to say, to convey, love and convey emotion and convey vulnerability and want, to another male that is my offspring, that is my child.
That was difficult. Were you thoughtful about it in the moment?
I was thoughtful in the moment, making sure that I convey love. Mm-hmm. I wanted to convey love, and I wanted to convey that I am here, and this closeness we need to have. And sometimes once they get to a certain age, our older kids are grown, the communication sometimes has to change and has to be adjusted, because now you're talking to another man as opposed to a kid. So, wanting to convey love at the same time, but, thinking to myself, could I have this conversation with just another guy? Could I have this conversation about what I'm going through as a father and as a parent with another guy? Could I reveal some of my deepest, darkest fears and some of my trepidation, the things that I have revealed to you? Mm-hmm. And, you're my best friend in the entire world. So, I think that's kind of a little bit different, but, being able to be sitting with one of my line brothers or one of my homies and be able to have an intimate conversation where you're revealing feelings about a relationship or a job or something like that, it's always been kind of hard. So, you talk to a lot of people, you have clients that you talk to that are males. It's just a difficult thing. So seeing the picture, I commend them for doing that. And I commend them for, and I don't think they even thought twice about it. I think their relationship is such. I think they're cool.
I think they thought about it.
You think so?
I think it was intentional. I don't think they had to push themselves to do it or that they were not comfortable, but I'm pretty sure they thought about it.
Like,
I think it was an intentional statement.
Even having the comfort level to do the photo shoot. Like, although I don't consider myself to be homophobic at all, I consider myself to be very liberal in my thinking. Even then, if they was like, put your arm around this guy and then take your fist and put it under his chin and y'all kind of make this some of the poses that we're doing, I would be a little antsy about that. Yeah. There'd be a little level of anxiety about that, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But that would be a little level.
It's a generational thing, I think.
Yeah.
It might even be a Southern thing. It's definitely a Black thing. I've been watching some shows lately of just people interacting with each other, some reality shows, and it is striking how comfortable white guys are with each other.
Yes, I think we talked about that.
They smack butts, they kiss, they lay in the same bed, they hug on each other. Like, that is just, and it probably goes back to enslavement for us, because we never could. The men had to be something different. They didn't have the luxury of sharing love and acknowledging love, not even to their children or wives. So, they wasn't able to do it with other men. So I'm sure it's just, in our DNA at this point. And it's definitely not something we share with white men.
It's not. And the term actually is called slap ass. It's a sports thing, because I play baseball and you play football, when you come by and you smack your homie on the ass.
Oh yeah, that's one thing, but I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about an intentional flirty type thing that's not actually sexual. It's flirty, funny. Black men would never do that.
No, just you even saying that,
it's uncomfortable.
I blacked out for a second.
But I'm just making it.
I remember watching the show because we was watching the two white guys on whatever show that was that you were watching.
And it happens. It's regular. It's not just on a show. It's regular behavior, and they don't even know each other. They're learning each other.
Wasn't that the UK version though?
It happened on that show too. Yeah. It happens on all these new shows. It's not. It's very common. It's not even a thing.
Yeah, I don't oftentimes see the level, even when they are younger. They get their friend. They are younger when they get their friends around. I think the one show was the Love at First Sight show where they hadn't seen the spouse. They hadn't seen the person that they're going to marry.
Married at first sight.
Yeah, something along those lines. And the friends that come around, the white guys, are always, it's just a different dynamic from when the black dudes
That's
come
interesting.
around.
I'm gonna have to do some
I'm just giving
research
you, just giving you a reason to go back and watch that again.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I'm pretty sure that there is a reason, and there's a significant difference in white life experience and black life experience.
Absolutely.
So I'm pretty sure that that is probably how we got here with our men being uncomfortable with emotion and uncomfortable with sharing and showing emotion and love to other men.
I mean, I think it's historic. I think it's systemic. We've always been told that we can't show emotion. All the way back to when black men were separated from their families, and you had to watch your wife and your kids be bought by someone else and purchased by another person and moved to another state, and you had to sit there and watch that, and you had to kind of suffer in silence, or to be whipped and chained and shackled, to be taken from your homeland, to being lynched.
So basically, black men have not been afforded the freedom
of being vulnerable and emotional.
Or being themselves.
Being themselves. The basic human right of being yourself. The basic human right of, being able to express yourself. That has been taken away from us traditionally. And then it kind of shows.
That's terrible.
Because when you see those, when I go back to those shows and I see the black friends come around, the conversations are different. They're always different. And, it's a lot of shoulder shrugging, like, it's almost as if black men can't really, express themselves, which is, kind of weird. But I digress. Speaking of which, I want to switch gears a little bit because we're talking about that, because you are the healer here at the table. And in talking about black men being vulnerable and expressing themselves, there was a tweet that went viral on Twitter as well from a black female therapist who made the declaration that she was no longer going to take men as clients. And she listed, some reasons. One of those reasons, of course, being that, men always try to talk to her to get her to qualify herself and to prove that, she should have the right to be able to be their therapist. And then the other one, of course, is the one that, we always know, the extra DMs and emails after it's over with being propositioned by the men. So she said that she wasn't going to see men anymore. And the weight of the world fell down on her shoulders because everyone took that to her saying that she would not be seeing black men. And she has since gotten threats. She has since gotten DMs.
Why did they take it as she was
I don't know. That's what it turned into. And I think because she was a black therapist, I think that's kind of what they thought at the end of the day.
Of course, only black guys are going to her because she's black.
Right. No white guys would be going to a black woman therapist, so it's got to be all black guys that she had. But she said men. The tweet implicitly said, I'm no longer going to see men. And she gave the reasons for it. And people were saying that, you're a therapist and you're supposed to be here for everybody that wants, that wants your care. You're discriminating. What's your problem? I mean, they really kind of came down on her. So as someone, who, is in that arena that has clients, the wherewithal or the ability or the right to refuse to see certain people if they're seeking your assistance or seeking your help for whatever reason. Where's the line for the therapist and the line that they draw for who it is that they want to see? And what were your thoughts on that?
Wherever they put the line, it's completely up to them. She's working for herself. She has every right to set a boundary to protect her peace. If she's uncomfortable with taking a client, she has the right to set a boundary to say, I'm not taking this client.
For you, has there ever been an instance where you had to set a boundary for a particular style of client or a particular client or a particular gender of client? Is that something that happens? Or, have you ever had to take that stance before? What's the
protocol
for that?
I've had to set boundaries for clients based on their ability and willingness to be open and to trust me, but not much. Most of my clients are word of mouth. So by the time they get to me, they've already gotten the lowdown on who I am and what I stand for, and they follow me. And then they decide if they want to come or not. I think the idea here that's being missed is that the fact that men automatically need her to qualify herself. I think that's the point. Like, we should be more concerned about the idea that men, let's even say black men,
right?
The idea they have about therapy, period. It's unhealthy. And obviously, if she's setting this boundary, she's obviously had, well, I'm going to assume that she's had this happen on several occasions to be at the point to where she's ready to break. Because if she's a therapist, she's already ready for people to call her and say, okay, what you do? I get those calls all the time. What you do? What's in a queen session? What's going to happen?
Right.
And I can tell in the conversation if those people are really serious about setting up a session or if they're having a bad moment at the time. But I answer the question for either one. I tell everybody, this is what it is. This is what you're going to get. This is what I do. This is who I am. And then I listen to what their concerns are, because everybody has different concerns based on where they are in their journey. So I haven't reached the magnitude where I need to turn anybody away, but I do alter what I provide to people based on what they need.
Right.
So it sounds like maybe she does not do that. And so if that's the case, then she's going to run in. If you got this blanket formula that you serve with all of your clients, then that is going to get on your nerves, because they are expecting you to fit something and customize it to them, which they have every right to.
Right.
But all of my clients get that. Like, everybody don't need the same thing.
Have you ever had an instance where you had to back away from a client?
Yes. Once or twice.
Once or twice or twice? Just kind of describe the scenario. For you, where you see like, this is a point where I'm going to have to set a boundary. You know, you're not going to announce it on Twitter, but you have to set a boundary.
I find it disturbs my flow with people who come challenging me. Like, you're coming here for me to offer you a service, but you're challenging me like I don't know what I'm talking about, and you're not listening, and you're combative with everything I say. It's not that I can't handle the conversation or that I can't stand up for myself. It's more of you're not ready for this yet. So it's not, you're not even in a place where you can face yourself, let alone listen to me help guide you through something. You're not even ready to let down your guard.
Coming to talk and not really ready to talk.
Yeah, not ready to actually move towards healing. You ready to talk, but you really just want to vent. You don't want to do nothing. And I'm not one of those people that's just going to take your money and let you come sit there and talk to me. I'm a spiritual counselor, not a licensed therapist, which is, I think, what they usually do.
Yeah.
So if you're not willing, if you're not in a place where you're ready to see yourself and take advisement, it's not even worth me putting up the effort, because that's hard to do. It's constant, like, banging your head up against the wall. By the time I finish that hour, I ain't good for nobody else.
Right.
You know, so that's a thing for me. Her thing sounds like it is all the hoops that she has to go through for male clients. I would be willing to go through a couple of hoops for male clients, because they don't get therapy. So if they are even interested in having a conversation with me about what they might be getting, I'm going to take that conversation, because I want more men to come sit with me and have conversations. I see men, they come, but they're not consistent.
Right.
My female clients come regularly.
Right.
You know, but
men are not going to come until the ship is going down, until the
and
hole
then
is
they'll
in the
book.
bow.
They'll be ready. They'll book, and then they'll not come, or they'll come to that one session and think they got everything they need. So it's difficult for men to take advisement, maybe difficult to take advisement from women.
And it's tough because I hate it because, we've talked about this, about females in the music industry and females in Hollywood, females in business, women in business. It's just terrible, the concept that, a lot of times men will, become a client and get into those spaces with you where they're, being vulnerable with you, and then that turns into the DM afterward and the extra email afterward, saying, let's get together for a drink or let's get together outside of this, kind of using it as a means to try to hit on women. It's a terrible thing that y'all have to deal with.
That don't happen to me.
Why do you think it doesn't happen to you?
Because they know my husband.
Oh my God.
They know I'm married,
mm-hmm.
and I don't present myself in any other fashion. It's about healing, period.
It could come a time, though, because being vulnerable and opening up to someone, that at times can lend itself to, even if it's a false sense of attachment.
Sure, I'm sure it
can lead to it, right?
I'm sure it could. But again, my clients are basically word of mouth. I don't have these pages where people are looking through pages and be like, okay, I'm going to this one.
Mm-hmm.
They're word of mouth. So by the time they get to me, they got all the story they need.
Yeah.
So, that's the case with me. I've had people to try to come shop at
mm-hmm.
the closet
mm-hmm.
who might say something inappropriate, but it's never anything I can't handle. It's never, ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about that offline then. So there. At any rate, I thought that was interesting. Twitter is where a lot of things go down. You need to join me back over there. We got to make sure you get back on there. The engagement, at least from what you can read, will be cool. Yeah, I said that myself too.
Just send me what you want me to see.
Huh?
Just send me what you want me to see.
You should join me. We should be there together.
Baby. We
should be in the space together. Come on back over.
You just hold it down for both of us.
Oh, baby, it's tough.
That's your response.
That's it, man.
Oh, baby, it's
tough. A jungle in there, baby. It's a jungle. Oh, man. I'm in there. But anyway, moving on, some other things that, I wanted us to talk about because, these are conversations, of course, that happen between a husband and wife in the privacy of our own home. So we talk about relationship stuff a lot. Speaking of which, the Love and Life panel is coming up soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the date?
Saturday, April 22nd.
Saturday,
Love
April 22nd.
and Life 11.
Love and Life 11. And Love and Life is what? For the people.
Love and Life is a panel discussion of real people having real conversation about real relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So we find people from every relationship background, single, dating, married, divorced, to exclusively dating. We have people who come and they have conversations about it. It's a free event. We've been doing it. This is our 11th year. Where people come in and just have conversations. It started off with us noticing the breakdown in the communication between partners
right.
and between male and females.
Mm-hmm.
So we started doing this a long time ago so that people can start having real conversations and being heard. So there's a moderator present. There are questions. We take questions from the audience and then we ask specific questions to each group to start off the dialogue. It's a really good, very well attended and needed event.
Yeah. So, kind of all different experiences together, kind of being honest. It's always an honest and open conversation. So, we talk about relationship stuff a lot because we're still learning. And, we tell people all the time, we're not perfect and we don't do these things and have these conversations because we feel like we got it together. We don't. Most times that you have seen us here is a good possibility that she has just got through cussing me out moments before. As a matter of fact, you should probably go back and look at some of the old episodes and maybe guess the episode. If you can tell at the beginning of the episode, go back in and see if you can. That's
inappropriate.
And see if you can guess.
Oh my God, I can't believe you did
on
that.
which show that my wife had just gotten through cussing me out and I mean literally moments before, we hit record on everything.
I don't make
Let's go
the
back
shift
through.
well. I don't make the shift well.
So
It happens, but it's slow.
I'm giving you the game because, as she said, she doesn't shift well. So you might be able to actually see the beginning of the show and tell when she has just got through cussing me out. She got 30 episodes that you can go back through now. You might not be able to tell if you're listening on the streaming services.
You might, though.
You might. But if you watch it on YouTube, buddy, let me tell you, you go back through there and look through those 30 and, holler back at us. You know what I'm saying? You can get in our inbox so you don't have to do it in public, but go back and name the episode and the subject matter and just say, hey, I think this is one that she had just got through cussing you out on. And let's see if it is correct, because there were several of those where that took place ahead of time.
It was not several.
We would beat and just got through yelling at each other in here and arguing about something trivial that, passed by, instantly. But, we're not perfect. And we like having these conversations because it helps us.
Yeah.
And it helps the line of communication stay open, and it helps us, to continue to grow and evolve.
Yeah, you're definitely, in love and life, you're definitely going to learn something or teach something. Mm-hmm. So even though we have a panel, there is often information that the panelists leave with that comes from the audience.
Yeah.
So it's a really good atmosphere for good communication.
We've had some return panelists who've had different experiences along the way, from married to divorced or single and dating to not dating anymore. And they come back, and every year everybody's on the edge of their seat to see what the new development is. Yeah. So, we did it on last year as well. We're going to stream the Love and Life panel. It'll stream on the YouTube channel, the same YouTube channel that you follow for According to Kaz Queen and Good Things Jackson. Subscribe to the channel, and you will be able to see Love and Life. You'll be able to see the panel in real time. You'll be able to see it live as it happens. You'll be able to, watch and leave comments and questions as we do that. That's what we've done for the past couple of years, so we're going to try to do that again.
I have a question.
What's that?
I thought we were supposed to be having wine when we do the podcast.
Let me tell you about that. I just didn't at this point, because, before we started doing the podcast, I was, vibing in another sense. Oh. Let me just say that. So getting ready to get this delicious barbecue, I didn't want to do too much. But let's just say that, a few moments ago, I was getting my head right before we got in here. So I'm kind of good right now. But I will say that next time, especially if we do it around this time, I will have some wine. I'm going to have to taste some other wine because I don't want to be on here drinking Moscato every week.
I don't want you to.
But it tastes good. Like, that's how I want my wine to taste. I think I've said that before. I said that.
Moscato tastes like sugar water.
It's a dessert wine, as I have been told, and as people say, it's a dessert wine. And, we're just not supposed to be loving it like we do. But, black folks being the trendsetters that we are, that's what we've done. And we
I don't even think you could righteously call it wine. You should call it a sparkling water.
I don't know if it's sparkling water.
Alcohol water.
I just say it tastes good is all I'm saying. It tastes much better than the red, but I will try it because I love you, and I will try new things. I will try the red the next time, and I'll do that.
You already told me that if it's red,
I'm going to try it because I want to know the taste that you like. I told you, I always wished that I liked coffee because I see people drinking coffee and they really be enjoying it. And I want to have that same level of enjoyment. And I've tried it and it just doesn't do the same thing to me.
It's about 60% enjoyment. The rest of it is addiction.
And that's tough.
It is.
I don't want any parts of that.
You don't.
I don't want
because the withdrawals of not having it are ridiculous and instant.
That's tough. But not wine so much. Not wine. Okay. So we were watching this video from Kev on Stage. There was another post that was put up from the He-Man Woman Haters Club is what I call them. Shouts out to the Little Rascals. But for men who just can find nothing positive to say about women. There was a post about a gentleman that said that he makes $300,000 a year. He has a nice apartment. I forget what all of the great things that he had. And he continues to get ghosted, or women tell him that they don't want to be in a relationship with him. And the last sentence was, women are broken. That was
modern women.
Modern women are broken. So Kev on stage went off and he, kind of had some of the same sentiments that I have about it. But this premise that because you are making a certain amount of money and drive a certain type of car and you live in a certain type of condo or apartment, that you are supposed to instantly be good dating material or good relationship material. And if women are not fawning over you and you're having trouble finding women, that it's the women's fault and not your fault. Well,
I really don't know what to say to that, because I know plenty of women who would date him just for that.
So you thought it was cap?
What was cap?
That he's saying that he gets ghosted, or women are saying that they don't want relationships with him?
No, I'm not saying he's capping. I'm just saying your statement was that.
I've seen that a lot. I've seen that there are a lot of dudes who are well off and they are not in relationships for whatever reason. And they seem to think it's because the women, modern women, don't want them. And they might not make $300,000 is a lot. I don't know what city or what job, whoever this dude is at this time, he could have been made up. But $100,000, $80,000, nice car, nice home.
Listen, you can get a woman with $30,000.
You can get a woman with $10.
So I don't really understand this. I don't know what we're doing here, because what we talking about?
Why does he feel like modern women are broken? Why do you hear that all the time? Like the relationship thing right now and marriages are not happening because women are broken and they don't know what they want.
I think he's looking for a particular type of woman, and those women that he don't want him. That's really it.
That's actually most of these dudes' problems when I see it.
Absolutely.
The women that they want,
don't want
that
them.
look how they want, don't want them. Mm-hmm. And the women that
and it ain't got nothing to do with the money.
Right.
So it's just him. And Kev on stage said he was living in Loserville. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go that far. But I do believe that he has his eye. He's dating a certain type of woman, or looking for a certain type of woman. And this particular type of woman is not interested in the fact that he has all of that. She probably got it herself, and she's not looking for that. So he should probably consider what else he's bringing to the table, or what else he's lacking from bringing to the table, if he wants that type of woman. Or he needs to make some adjustments to his thought process on the kind of woman he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Or needs. Put your emphasis on what you need instead of what you want.
There it is. And I agree with that. And it's tough. But usually that's what it is. It's that the type of woman that they want
don't want them.
Does not want them. And like Kev on stage said, and I have to concur, I mean, you can pass the collection plate around on this, and if you are lame, there is no amount of money that's going to unlame you if you lame. There's a lot of lame dudes with money. I
still know women who would date lame niggas if they had a whole bunch of money. So I really don't understand. I'm going back and forth on this.
I agree.
Even if he was lame, there's still a woman out there who would date him because he is well off and could take care of her.
Absolutely.
Not that it's right, but it's possible.
Right. We're not condoning it.
Yeah.
But that particular lame nigga who and I know people that would date him, that would date him, are probably not the women that he wants. He may not even be in the bracket for the women that he wants. They may be looking for someone that's even in a higher bracket than he is.
Absolutely.
So it's not really that women are broken. It's that folks' choices on both sides of the fence are broken. Their expectations are broken.
Because it's all superficial. Nobody's looking for the real thing. They looking for dates instead of looking for mates.
Oh, wow.
Bam. You
like that? Wow. Looking for dates instead of looking for mates. We got to use that in Love and Life, by the way. That was good. Did you just come up with that?
Just did. It's the cab.
Is that what it is? It's the red wine coming up with those little ditties like that. Yeah, I always, I find it strange because I do feel like there are some women that would date this dude.
And there are women who would date him if he was broke.
Yes.
So it's really not about that. It's about, figuring out what you need and what you want and what's the difference. And it's a whole lot of other stuff. It's just such a frivolous idea to even be making a post about.
There's so many dudes right now that are getting obsessed over that are sleeping on their mama's couch and don't have no car.
Or sleeping on their wife's couch.
Or sleeping on their wife's couch. Or
still out here talking about they can't get no woman. You got one. Sit down.
Well, yeah, there's that. There is that. But it's a lot of dudes with no job. And it's a lot of baby boys out here right now that's slanging pipe all over town and not having any problem getting dates or mates, for that matter, and ain't got a dime in their pocket. And that's a real thing, and that's happened. So clearly, it has to be that you just might need to unlame yourself, if that's possible. If you can unlame yourself.
It's somebody out there for everybody.
It is.
And it's so many more women than men that everybody got a chance. So
everybody's got a chance.
You really literally just probably packing your bags up on the wrong couch. Like you need to be focusing in another area.
Yeah.
The women you want don't want you, bro.
That's it. And go find the women that do want you at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And y'all be together and make a unit. If you're making $300,000 a year, and there's a lot of women that are
and then he probably leading with that. Now that's lame.
That is lame.
You know what I'm saying? Like if that's your whole niche, like that's your thing. I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. That's not attractive.
You don't even have any game, my boy?
You might be missing a little game.
I mean,
might be coming up a little short.
The basic game that you need to,
because broke dudes out there with no game,
they smashing.
They winning.
Broke dudes is out here smashing, and they smashing, women that are making six figures in a lot of cases. They doing it. So if you a dude with six figures and you are not smashing currently, then
you might be living in Loserville.
You might be living. You might be living in Loserville. Come on now. You might be living in Loserville. I don't know what to tell you, but I had my moments. Most of my moments were broke moments, though. To be honest with you, I was about to say I had my moments, but there was a consistent level of broke moments in there. But I
didn't care at all.
You didn't care
at all
because I had some game.
Yep.
I had some game. I'm going to need you to chime in.
Yes,
faster.
baby.
All right.
It wasn't a game, baby.
What was it? You need to hold up. I'm going to need you to get these answers together before we go forward right now.
Baby, you gave me your real authentic self.
Yes.
From the moment I met you.
I did.
That did not require any game at all.
You recovered. I mean, it was a little bit of game because I had some game.
It was a little bit of game because your very first statement to me was absolutely game, but it didn't feel like game.
And that's game.
That's game.
There you go.
That is game.
Boom. There it is.
You got me, didn't you?
There it is. Because you're here. And we're doing According to Kaz Queen. And we are
13 years in.
13 years in the marriage. And 30 episodes in on this podcast. And you still here. It's an adventure every week, ladies and gentlemen. It's an adventure. It's a roller coaster ride every week. Let me tell you. So it's spring break. By the time people hear this episode, it will be spring break in Jackson, Mississippi. The little one is on spring break. And she's doing what kids do on spring break. She's hanging out. She's chilling. She's going to visit, some of the folks. And mama and daddy is trying to figure out what to do with ourselves. We not?
Nah.
Oh, man.
I know exactly what to do with myself.
What's that? Yeah.
Why you take it there? That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm just saying I'm just going to do me.
I'm going to do you.
Ooh.
while she gone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. But
lots of game talk.
so it's talking to a lot of people. You know, once you become an adult, somebody was asking, when do the adults get spring break? The need, like right now, knowing it is spring break and the need for the recharge that's there, like when do the adults get the spring break? When do we get that? Like, it's crazy.
You get it when they on spring break.
Yeah, to a degree.
I understand. Most people take off when their kids are off.
Mm-hmm.
But then some of them don't want to be at home with their kids, so they add more things to do to their schedule.
And be gone out of the
and
house
be
and
gone
working double.
extra.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But, you know.
You got to take some time for yourself.
I don't have that issue. I take time for myself on a regular basis.
You do.
Even if it's an hour at a time, I'm going to get me some restoration. I have a day every week where I do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But lay in the bed, or I might feel like I want to go to the mall, or whatever it is I feel like I want to do, I do it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to make sure that I relax my mind and get some real quality time in just with me. And I do that every week. So I'm not saving up or waiting on spring break.
Well, there it is. I think it's important for restoration. I think it's important for the kids to have it. And I think it's a time to, just kind of do a reset, I think. But there's a lot of people and a lot of adults that have kids that are out and they're not going to be off from their jobs. So it's kind of different when the kids are out and you're still having to go to work every day. It's kind of that same thing. We're going to take a little jaunt and get on the road for spring break. We'll probably tell you guys about that on the next episode, on the post spring break edition, after we do it. But it's spring break. I hope you guys are getting ready to enjoy a spring break of your own wherever you are. And we thank you guys for tuning in with us and sticking with us, of course, as always. These are conversations that go on between a husband and wife in the privacy of our own home that we bring to you guys to laugh, to be introspective, to think. Do you just want to open up the lines of communication, man? Make sure you're checking us out on Black with No Chaser Radio as well, and all the streaming services and all that good stuff. We're about to go right now. As soon as we, hit cut and stop, we're going to enjoy some Mississippi barbecue that is hands down the best barbecue in the entire world. Not Memphis, not Kansas City, not Georgia. Mississippi barbecue is the best barbecue. And if anybody is listening to this right now, I defy you to prove to me otherwise if you're listening to us in other areas. So we're going to leave right now. And again, shouts out to the poor people of Virginia who are having to endure that struggle plate that your man has put out to the world. And now Virginia is known as the home of struggle plate barbecue. So that is y'all's new motto in Virginia. I didn't set the tone. Your man set the tone by saying it was Virginia barbecue. I've never known you guys to do anything up there at all whatsoever, but now you have barbecue. So we're about to go have some Mississippi barbecue, the best barbecue in all of the land, and we're going to enjoy that. And we'll see you guys next time. As always, I am Kaz.
And I guess I'm Queen.
There it is. We'll see you guys next time. All right? Peace.